Hi, this is DiCarlo, and you are tuned in to All Flavors Radio with Wimbo and Natural Lily on the Drive Time Show from 6 p.m. to 8. Don't be late.
Do you know the best project you'll ever work on? Just in case you didn't know, the best project you'll ever work on is you.
Tones of Rochelle Farrell, and to open up the show with something phenomenal, because she really is quite an amazing singer that we have to kind of sit back and listen to. I am Wimbo77,
and I'm naturally I am naturally Lily.
You are naturally Lily. I got it right today, Lily.
You did. We didn't switch bodies today.
Yes, I didn't fault it there. Yes, DiCarlo, it was an amazing, wicked tune indeed. And that whole album, I think that one is called, is it Reflections of a... Let me just find out what that album is. Oh, that one's called Individuality, and it is the most, one of them, and that's definitely my top 10. An amazing, amazing album. That's Rochelle Farrell, Individuality. Really, really good one. So today... we have a lot to be going on with, but our question of the day, or the audience question, is what does it mean to be black enough? Now, we're going to be looking at that a little bit later on, because it was in regards to an article that was written about someone very dear and who's making waves as a black artist. And this was a question that was thrown out. So we're going to be looking at that a little bit later. But as regards to our National Day, today's National Day is, what is it, Lily?
National Storytelling Day.
Yeah, National Tell a Story Day. And I found that quite amazing. I mean, it is set in the United States.
As everything usually is.
Yeah, but like I said last time, if you come up with a day, then you can put something on the board as well. So try to think about that. But National Tell a Story Day, it encourages people of all ages to share stories. Yeah, to share stories and to tell stories. Tell stories. And it says you can read from a book or create one from your imagination. Stories recreated from childhood memory leave an indelible imprint on both the storyteller and the listener. Do you like telling stories, Leash?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah, sometimes. It depends on the story.
Right.
But I do like a good, meaty...
read.
Bit of conversational story, you know.
Yeah.
No, I do like a good read.
I love telling stories, as you know. I am a writer, so I have quite a few. And my latest instalment, well, apart from the one on how to write or how to do a podcast 2020, that was my last book. But the one before that, which is a children's book called Hassani and the Time Machine. And a lot of my books are based on history, on real history, but it's got fiction all the way through it. So Hassani, he goes to Jamaica. I'll tell a little bit of a story as soon as it is National Tell a Story Day, okay? So Hassani goes to Jamaica because his Uncle Sel is ill. So they got travel abroad just to go and see him, look out for him. But he comes across, so they travel there. And obviously Jamaica, all the sights, the sounds, the smells, incorporate all that stuff. But he meets an uncle that lives, or doesn't live in the barn. He has a barn at the back of the land, of their piece of land. But lo and behold, it's a laboratory. And when he goes in, he sees this huge item in the corner. And he asks his uncle, well, what's behind the sheet? Why are you hiding it? So they pull the sheet down, and it's a time machine, a shiny time machine. And there's a nemesis. His name is Dr. Select, who's after the time machine. Now, they did used to work together, but he was underhanded. So Egbert Green, who is the uncle, he ratted him out to the government. So they took away all of his rights, and basically the rest is history.
The nemesis.
He becomes a nemesis. Then they go in the machine, which is run on horse poop and water. Yes, and
Okay.
peanut shells.
Okay, nice.
And yeah, they just travel through time continuum, but end up at the beginning of time.
Nice. And where can we find the book?
Oh, that's sorry about that. Yeah.
Because you don't want to read the whole
That's true.
book. You want people to ooh, that's wet the taste buds of
Yes,
Tad.
yes.
Where can we find Hassani and the Time Machine?
We can find it on Amazon. Right, so it's called Hassani and the Time Machine, and it's obviously written by Natasha John-Baptiste. And seeing as it is National Tell a Story Day, yeah, I just thought that I would just throw that little one in there because, yes, I am a storyteller.
Yes,
And the story has got to be told. But what's great about this one, Lily, is that they highlight that we can tell stories about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what about you? What stories do you have inside of you? Because all of us, each and every one of us, has a story inside of us.
I have actually written a book myself.
Oh, awesome.
No, it's like a little really mini series. And I started writing it because I have a lot of experiences as a mother. And some are funny, some are just relatable, and others I just was having a moment, so I needed to get it out of my head and it ended up on paper or on the tablet. And I made it into a book. And it was funny because it's been sitting there for ages. It's not that long, it's just a couple of chapters.
It's fine.
And my brother's partner has also written a book, and she posted it on a app called Wattpad.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Oh, yes, why not? Why not just go and publish my book on there? So I did. I took all the chapters and put them all together, and I put them on this Wattpad.
Awesome. Brilliant. So that's another great fact that there are mediums that we can write to. I'm again, sorry guys, yes, I'm going to be doing a lot of self-promotion tonight, because why not? I'm doing a course on the 22nd of May on how to write an ebook.
Yeah.
How to get your ebook out there in the public domain, and what the steps are as to, why it's important, because there are three mediums there are three mediums in which we can publish a book. And that is obviously, sign up to the course and you can...
You'll find out.
You'll find out, yeah. So
too many freebies there.
There are ways to go about it. And now with the world, not before you used to have to approach a publisher and go for a whole rigmarole. Now you can actually, from start to finish, like you said, on platforms like Wattpad, on other platforms, create your own masterpiece and get it out there to the public without the middleman.
Well, E.L. James, she was self-published, wasn't she? And she ended up her books ended up turning into a 3-part movie series. So you can. There's loads of things nowadays though. You can go it alone. Yeah. When it comes to things, entrepreneurship and starting businesses, writing, teaching. There's loads of ways to start on your own. I mean, eventually you may end up having to pair up with someone or with a group of people, but you can start many things by yourself.
And eventually, like a publisher or publishing house would pick it up. Because I recall getting a call from a publishing house, but then you've got to be very careful as well, because there's lots of vanity publishers, people that just want to, I know lots that publish on Amazon, for instance, but they do it through a bit like the t-shirt business, Leash, print on demand.
Dropshipping.
Right, so the published author won't see any of that capital, whereas when you put it up by yourself, then you will see some form of capital coming through, and that's really what we want. Normally with a publisher, they'll give you an advance, you write, and then you'd sell books. That's the traditional way of doing things. So we are speaking about National Tell a Story Day today, beautiful people. And like I say, there is a story in all of us. So how do we celebrate? How do we observe this National Tell a Story Day, Lily?
So how to observe #National Tell a Story Day. Libraries around the country participate in the day. Mm-hmm. They offer special storytelling times for children. Do you have a story to tell? It does not matter if a story is a short story or a long story. Fiction or non-fiction, a tale, a tall tale, or folklore. Seek the storytellers in your life and encourage them to regale you with their stories. As you listen, record them in some way. This is a day for them all. And I know it said libraries, and we don't really have many libraries that are open at the moment, because obviously this is in America. However, I like the part there where it says find someone who has a story to tell. Yeah. I really used to enjoy sitting down and listening to Granddad Cecil tell stories when he was in Jamaica, and then when he came here. So it might just be, getting an interesting story from a family member. And, I don't know, doing an Instagram story on, guess what I found out today, guys, and then hashtagging National Tell a Story Day.
Yeah, because I remember Granddad speaking about that. I never knew that he made ukuleles, for instance, but he did. Yeah. And he could tell a story. He really told it in such a wonderful way. He had you engaged, and he held you there, and you're just like, oh, Granddad, and the eyes there staring up at him, enthralled by what he had to say. And that's what it's all about when it comes to telling stories. So what about you out there, beautiful people? How do you go about telling stories? Do you have a story within you to tell? I'm sure you do. So let us know. Give us a shout. 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713. So National Tell a Story Day. I thought that was really great. Really, really great. Yeah. And it says, one of the points there, it says, engage your audience, invite them to participate too. Mm-hmm. Be sure to give your characters their own voice. So again, when it comes to building characters, like Hassan was a young boy, he had a vivid imagination, and his imagination turned it into something that was real because, they went time traveling. Or, I always say you have antagonist, protagonist. So your protagonist is the hero of the story. Your antagonist is like Dr. Select. He was like there chasing after them through time, and really building on those things as well. So, and it also says get physical, body movements, give your stories extra impact. You'll capture your audience's attention. You'll also bring your story to life, and then ask your audience questions. Well, obviously in this time it's a bit hard to do that, but I know recently that I'd done this. It was a Saturday school. The lady's name is Marcia. She does a Saturday school she's from Birmingham, but she ran a Saturday school over the half term, and she got lots of readers, authors and so forth. The children were amazing. They were amazing, and the way that you could engage them in storytelling, but their passion to tell stories as well, because we had a little girl on and she highlighted that I want to be an author, what do I have to do? It's again like what we spoke about last week, that black excellence, and instilling these things in the youngsters, nurturing their talents, nurturing the amazing things about them, and then they too will go on to do really great things. So today in history then, Lily.
Beethoven's Für Elise.
Yes.
I say it was released, record that you hear on top 10.
Yeah. Probably back in their day.
Yeah. But Beethoven was I'm sure many people know who Beethoven was, but he was a classical composer, and his full name was Ludwig van Beethoven.
I'll just play that in the background while we're talking,
okay,
so people know what it is.
Nice. This is Für Elise. It is composed. Sorry, I haven't got the reading here. Now on today, it's one of his most popular pieces. It was lost and not rediscovered until 40 years after his death.
Wow.
It is German. Für Elise is German for Elise.
Yes.
The identity of Elise has never been fully determined. Some speculate it may refer to Beethoven's 18-year-old student, Teresa Malfatti, whom Beethoven supposedly proposed to in 1810, because this was composed in 1810.
Mm-hmm.
Others think that it may have been Beethoven's 17-year-old friend, the German soprano singer Elisabeth Ruckel.
Yeah. So
interesting.
What I find fascinating is that it was written all of those years ago.
Yeah.
And still, it's just...
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. That's why they call them classical songs, I guess. Right, so I thought it would be lovely just to highlight Beethoven's Verlies, that today, that it was composed. But that's amazing that it was discovered, or it wasn't discovered until 40 years after his death. Do you think that the composers used to write the date on which they composed it?
I'm sure they must have. Sign your work off. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I know a lot of the composers got their work stolen. So there is I think it's the Requiem by Mozart, and he wrote that for himself to be played at his passing. And I think the second half of it is written by someone else because they put a claim on it. And you can hear, I'm sure it's Requiem, because he was in, he had like a nemesis back in those days, someone who was against him.
Yeah. Do we know who that was?
I can't remember who it was, can't remember the name. And I'm sure it is Requiem. And you can clearly hear a difference in the toning of the song from the first half to the second half.
Wow.
Yeah.
See? And this is it. It's a bit like we were speaking earlier on today about our friend that we've spoken of a few times. Kanye. And how all of the rappers have their style. Like we said, DMX, he had his style.
Yeah.
Everyone has their style of doing things. So you can tell when there's something's a bit off. When it comes to that. But there you go, Beethoven's Verlies. I just play that in the background so everyone is aware of what that track was. And really, just giving homage to him, composing that amazing piece of music back in April the 27th, but in 1810. Yeah, so I'm just trying to find out who Mozart's nemesis was.
I'll find.
It's Milos Forman. Oh no,
it wasn't that person.
Oh no, that's talking about the film Amadeus. Yeah,
we'll find
Amadeus. Yeah, we'll find out who his nemesis was, and we'll let you know. So beautiful people. We're going to look at quickly the word of the day. Then we'll go to a break, and the word of the day is rococo. Rococo. Can anyone tell us what that word means? Let us know what you think, rococo, what that word is, and we'll let you know once we've gone to break. So, the word of the day, rococo. The national day today is Tell a Story Day, and what else was the breaking news? Was that Verlies was produced, or on this day, the 27th of April, 1810. See you in 5.
Stay there. We'll be back after these.
My name's Phil.
My name's John.
I'm 19 years old.
I'm 19 too.
I've got leukemia.
I've got leukemia.
Chemotherapy didn't work on me, nor did radiotherapy.
They didn't work for me either.
So now, a bone marrow transplant's my last hope.
It's my last hope too.
They found me a matching donor.
They can't find a donor for me.
I'm white.
I'm black.
I'm having a transplant next week that could save my life.
There are 24 times more white people than black on the UK Bone Marrow Register. If you're black or mixed race, join the register today. Visit aclt.org and see how you could be the one to save a life. ACLT unites to fight leukemia.
Raw View Music presents Alicia Banks on Upfront, a 7-track compilation, including the hit Love Has Found Its Way.
Love has found its way in our hearts today.
Sultry,
Love
clear
has
and
found
upfront.
its way in our hearts today.
Music barriers. Upfront, now available on iTunes and all major digital platforms.
Download and stream Love Has Found Its Way and the EP Upfront today at rawvuemusic.com, iTunes, or your preferred online platform.
Alicia Banks on Upfront.
Upfront.
Coming to a speaker near you.
Love has found its way.
Different tastes in music. Makes no difference what you like. If you want it, we got it. Right here.
FLAVASRadio.com, the #1 radio station on the net, reaching 179 countries in the world with the best variety of music.
Have yourself FLAVAS Radio.
Okay, so that was the sounds of first Al Jarreau, Morning, as well as Denise Williams, It's Your Conscience. Is it conscience? Conscience. Not conscious. Okay, so that's two totally different things. And going to the word of the day, Rococo.
Rococo. So, what does Rococo mean?
Rococo. It means, well, I know it from when I'd done a art and design course, that it was to do with a period of time when it came to art, when it came to design furniture.
Okay.
Rococo. So it was an artistic style, especially from the 18th century. Now, I don't know if Baroque came after that. I think it was before Baroque. Rococo.
No,
and
it
then
was
Baroque.
after Baroque.
Or was it after Baroque?
Because it says in the 18th century, French artists rebelled against the ponderousness of Baroque style and began to create light, delicate interior decorations, furniture and architectural elements characterised by fanciful, curved, asymmetrical forms and elaborate ornaments. Yeah, I just love the wording of that. Yeah. It sounds very
It does. But it was just both as outrageous as each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and even with the like the piano wasn't the piano because it was a harpsichord and it evolved into what we see today as a piano. So it was smaller and then it evolved. But yeah, it was a time of ornate and intricate design. Yeah, I'd say. So that's what the word of today is Rococo, and we will try.
You say Rococo.
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 Do you think that's how they would have said it though?
Yes. I see flamboyance in this. I know it's intricate and delicate, but I see the French. This is French. We say Rococo.
Yes. Okay. So we will try and slip that word into something that we will be into a sentence.
Goodness. Okay.
All right. So it might have to relate to the storytelling, the National Storytelling Day. We'll see. Okay. But we'll have to try and slip that in somehow. Or if someone in the chat room, one of you guys, can slip that into one of your answers or a sentence. Well, who knows? You might be up for winning something on the station tonight. We've got to think about that one, okay? Mm-hmm. So, Rococo. Okay, so in breaking news today, Lily, we've got one sad and one happy one. So I think we'll start with the father that pays tribute to his hero's son, who died after saving a woman from the Thames.
Now, let's just confirm a few things. It wasn't just a random woman, it was actually his friend.
Okay.
Which I think makes this even more sad, is the fact that would he have done the same thing for just someone he might have been passing by? Maybe he would have.
It was someone that was just passing by. He was with his friend. He was with his friend. And they saw a woman enter the water.
Oh, I read that so wrong.
Yeah, they saw a woman enter the water.
He and a friend entered the river.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. He said they saw her falling from London Bridge. I mean, how you fall from London Bridge around maybe they'd come out of lockdown. I mean, it was at midnight and she had one too many because they'd not been able to meet up with friends and so forth. But then you'd wonder, why is she walking along the bridge on her own at that time of night as well?
And those walls are quite high up.
Yes.
So I make that walk on a daily. I don't want to stand anywhere near the wall when I'm walking.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh. It works on
It's
anxiety.
high. It's high
it
up,
works
isn't
on
it?
anxiety. Yeah.
So it says she fell from London Bridge. I mean, that's quite a long jump down as well. So they must have jumped in after her then.
Yeah.
And then, it says they entered the water to try and assist the woman. So the Coast Guard and the Metropolitan Police Marine managed to rescue Flami's friend and the woman. However, they could not find him.
And then he was found after a 6-hour a body that is believed to be Olubunmi Adewale was found following a 6-hour intensive search. But it's just the words that his dad uses to describe him. He says that he says he is my hero.
Yeah.
And always will be. And he wants him to be remembered for the amazing thing that he's done at such a young age. He was only 20, but that has given so much meaning to his life, because it shows, for one, he had a great upbringing, the fact that he basically risked his life for someone he didn't know. And it says something about the friend as well, because the friend obviously went in there as well.
Yeah, they both did.
But obviously he did not make it, and the woman did.
Yeah. Let's hope that it was an accident, and that she's not going to live with the guilt of these young boys going in after her to save her life, and sadly one loses theirs in order to rescue someone else's. And it says they were touched by the story and they've paid tribute to his kindness and selflessness. Now, it's funny because I had an interview today, a radio interview, and the Maverick, he asked me the question, do you have any heroes? And I really had to think about that one. And I said, my heroes are the everyday heroes, the unsung heroes. Like, we see all of the stars out there doing their thing, and maybe some of them do things for charity, they do things within their rights. But it's the unsung heroes that are doing things like this young fellow. Had I not looked into The Voice, I saw this in The Voice, I would have known about it. So just in my researches, I've come across this young man.
Yeah, it has been in the news.
Has it been in the news?
They were talking about it in the office today. So.
Okay, so I obviously I'm not really a news watcher, so I do need to read these things. And it was sad that Olubunmi Adewale's family, they've started a fundraising page, and possibly, these are the heroes whose voice or whose names need to be out there, and we need to be celebrating these people that risk life and limb in order to help others. And it's likewise with those around us. Do we see our nearest and dearest as heroes, as the things that they step out to do for others? Are we doing things for others? In the sense of not to this capacity of jumping into the River Thames and saving someone's life, because the River Thames is very choppy as well.
Very choppy.
I've done National Rescue lifeguarding, but would I be able to do that? I'm not too sure.
I feel like he was most probably a medic.
Do you think so?
Just because it's midnight, or it's very, very late at night, and he was leaving work, and a hospital right there. You got the London Bridge Hospital, you've got another private hospital up the road, and then you've got Guy's Hospital around the corner. So I wonder if he was maybe a medic or something.
It doesn't really say regards to what he did. And I guess his father...
Because even after you finish work, you just want to go home.
Yeah. It's the last thing. But you see someone that's in distress. Now you can do one of two things. Or you can do one of three things. Fight, flight or freeze. Yeah. And they chose to fight in the sense of fighting to save someone. Would we have done that if we had been in the same situation?
I'm just going to be... I wouldn't have been jumping in there. I have a fear of large bodies of water as it is.
Yeah.
but I would have panicked.
Yeah.
And tried to get help.
But then obviously they must have had what's the word? Confidence in the way that they swam.
Yeah.
Maybe they were good at when it comes to swimming.
Yeah.
Or just seeing someone. I mean, if you can't swim, you're not going to
Basic
jump in, are you?
instinct.
Yeah. So she was saved, and the father of Adewale says that his son deserves a bravery medal. And I fully agree with that. I think that he does deserve a medal because doing that is amazing.
Yeah, very amazing.
Yeah, going and saving someone else's life. And I mean, our NHS staff are doing that on a daily basis as well, but not in such a capacity.
Well, I've got staff that have gone through some serious times over the last year. That at the moment they are my unsung heroes, because I feel like they have been put in a position where this is not what we've trained for, and literally have been flung in the deep end.
Yeah.
So they're at the moment there's a few people that I look at and I'm like, yeah,
medals,
yeah,
bravery medals. And what beautiful people, who are your unsung heroes? Who are your heroes? Let us know. 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713. So on the back of Something Sad, with his father pays tribute to his hero son who died after saving this woman from the Thames, we have an Oscar winner and Black Excellence going there, Black Excellence again. And this is Daniel Kaluuya. Right, you say his name a lot better than I do, Lily. And he's...
if my Ugandan friend heard that, she must really be like, no, Nisha, that's my... Because he's from Uganda. But yeah.
So it's amazing because he won a Golden Globe earlier on in the year. We spoke about him, didn't we? Along with John... Oh, let's forget his name. Brother Boyega, and the other sister and brother of Chadwick Boseman of Excellence. But Daniel Kaluuya, sorry, he has won Best Supporting Actor, an Oscar.
Wow.
And a couple of friends of mine sent that over today. I saw this one, it was on a Black History website, and this was the news that was up there. And it's amazing.
I really want to watch this film.
What's the film?
Because he's won a lot of accolades because of this film, Judas and the Black Messiah. And it says that he starred... It was made in 2020. He starred as a revolutionary socialist, Fred Hampton, in the biographical drama, and his performance in the film was lauded by critics.
So where can we catch this film then? Where can we get it?
I think it's on Netflix, but I'm not sure.
I've not seen it going through it, but I'll have to type that title in. Judas and the Black Messiah. That's what he won it for. And he lived in Camden. Just up the road.
Kaluuya?
Yeah. Camden to Hollywood. It said from Camden to Hollywood. So beautiful people. It's out there for us. We can reach out and grab these things. It says he was born in London to Ugandan parents.
Yeah.
His mother's Damali raised him on a council estate in Camden. I wonder what council estate that was then. I don't know of much. There are a few.
Camden's not a very nice area.
No. But it's very chic and niche.
Yeah, there's just two sides to it, isn't it? There's the aesthetic side and there's the what's actually going on in Camden side.
Very true. Because I know that Ken used to work in Islington, and he said it's very. It's horrible. I mean, although I must say the last time I drove through there, because London is changing rapidly as we speak, it looked very, very different. So they've kind of modernised it a little bit, and. So
just because you paint over the damp doesn't mean the damp's not there.
Wow, Lily, that's deep.
And there it is. That's very deep. Do you hear what I said, guys? Just because you paint over the damp doesn't mean the damp's not there. I feel like aesthetically they're improving London, but the issues the issues that are going on in London is the damp that's still there.
Yeah.
It's not been treated. The homelessness, oh yeah, there's loads of flats going up. There's loads of homes, but is not for the homeless. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, Camden's always kind of been chic, different, boho, edgy. You know, it's that kind of place. But I'm sure for those people that were raised in Camden, they see a completely different side than the rest of the visitors. Let's say the visitors to Camden Market, because people just tend to go to Camden Market.
Very true.
And Cuban.
What's Cuban?
It's the salsa place.
Is it still there? I wonder if any of these businesses are still up and running.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still in the back.
Wow. And I used to go to, there was a black restaurant there. I've sang there a couple of times. What's the name of the restaurant? No, I can't remember. If anyone knows that there's a restaurant, a black restaurant in Camden as well, but that's on the further side towards the stables. Cottons. Yeah. So a lot going on there. But Kalua, he came from Camden, like it says, a housing estate, and the video that I saw when he was celebrating, his house looked really nice.
What, his Camden house?
I don't know if it was in Camden. It's wherever they were celebrating with his brothers. It was so nice watching it. It was just like, go.
Good for you.
Go.
He deserves it.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. It's hard work. Things don't just come so free and easy as well. Sometimes I've heard the saying, a quick buck. I don't think that exists. And if it does for somebody, that's amazing if they can do that. But lots of hard graft, sweat and tears, I'm sure that he's had to go through to get an Oscar.
Yeah.
Remember we said there was only 19 people that had actually received one since, when is it, 1929 or something?
Yeah.
So well done Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah, he says he gained further acclaim. So he's done like some things for the BBC, series called Psychoville, as well as further acclaim for 15 Million Merits. Have you seen any of these films, Leish? I really don't.
There's one film that I saw him in and I turned it off because I didn't like... I get really funny when I see certain people acting in certain parts, so I didn't stick with it.
That's who he is.
Oh my goodness. Really? All this time we didn't know who Daniel Kaluuya is? The guy from Get Out?
Yes, I just seen it. Like, Get Out.
I'm embarrassed.
No.
You didn't know all this time.
I didn't know who. Leish, you know me.
It's because the only person you know is your boy John Boyega. You're like, oh my darling, oh, you made me so proud.
No boys, Kojo.
He's not UK.
No, he's not UK.
He's not UK.
Oh, Idris, who we're going to be talking about. Idris, very, very soon, beautiful people. Yeah. Okay, so he was the guy from Get Out.
Yeah, he's Get Out.
Oh, he was a very good actor.
Yeah, he is.
Well done. That makes it even more real in my mind as to who he is, because so beautiful people. I'm really not keyed up. Like I said, my heroes are the local heroes, people that are doing things in my community that you can see that are making a difference. But obviously beautiful brothers like this are out there making their mark and making the way for young black people, young black boys, young black men, young black women, young black girls to come up and make a difference in life.
Yeah, I do find actually that a lot of people from my generation, my school generation, have in the UK have done very well for themselves when it comes to the music industry, the movie industry, that kind of thing. They really have shown out. They've gone above and beyond to get where they need to get because they've put in the work.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, a lot of people think, overnight millionaires, overnight success. Overnight success doesn't happen. These people have been putting in a lot of work for a long time. Yeah. Doing these short films, doing these little snippets here and
cameo
there.
roles.
It's not an overnight success. This is a long time coming.
There's a friend of mine. He's an associate, should I say? Samuel Benter. He done All About the Mackenzies. They had a long run on London. Was it London Live? Is that the TV channel?
Yeah.
and also on another channel as well. Before London Live picked him up.
Okay.
And he's worked very hard. I think he done Power Rangers.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to do the movement there, Lily, to remember what it was. Sorry, beautiful people. I just done like a Power Rangers move there. And yeah, so there are young people trying to break through. And I guess a bit like the fella that done Small Axe, the director. Like there was a film that we watched the other night. It was with Idris Elba in it. It was something about Concrete Cowboy or something. I mean, it wasn't fantastic.
The young black boy in it, yeah.
But he directed that film.
Wow.
So there are more directors and film people coming together. And this is it, beautiful people. It's about the coming together and making the magic happen. You know, we have a platform, and now we can enter these small film festivals because more and more of our people are being fully absorbed and interested and getting involved in a lot of projects. So let's start doing a lot more. Let's start doing these things, put them out there, and really voting and supporting all these wonderful efforts that our people are making. So well done, Daniel Kaluuya, and wish you every success. He's only 32, Lily. He's 32. Why is that?
No reason. No reason.
Yeah,
he's young. He's only 32.
Right, so he's got a long career ahead of him. So beautiful people, we will see you in 5. And the question that we are putting out to you is, what does it mean to be black enough?
Stay there. We'll be back after these.
My name's Phil.
My name's John.
I'm 19 years old.
I'm 19 too.
I've got leukemia.
I've got leukemia.
Chemotherapy didn't work on me, nor did radiotherapy.
They didn't work for me either.
So now, a bone marrow transplant's my last hope.
It's my last hope too.
They found me a matching donor.
They can't find a donor for me.
I'm white.
I'm black.
I'm having a transplant next week that could save my life.
There are 24 times more white people than black on the UK bone marrow register. If you're black or mixed race, join the register today. Visit aclt.org and see how you could be the one to save a life. ACLT unites to fight leukemia.
Raw View Music presents Alicia Banks on Upfront, a 7-track compilation, including the hit Love Has Found Its Way.
Love has found its way in our hearts today.
Sultry,
Love
clear
has
and
found its
upfront.
way in our hearts today.
Music barriers.
Upfront, now available on iTunes and all major digital platforms.
Download and stream Love Has Found Its Way and the EP Upfront today at rawvuemusic.com, iTunes, or your preferred online platform.
Alicia Banks on Upfront.
Upfront.
Coming to a speaker near you.
Love has found its way.
Different tastes in music. Makes no difference what you like. If you want it, we got it. Right here.
FLAVASRadio.com, the #1 radio station on the net, reaching 179 countries in the world with the best variety of music.
Call us now on 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713.
Okay, so Naturally Lily, yes, 27th of April. Do you know what? I thought it's nearly May.
Yeah, in literally like 3 days.
3 days. Yeah, I was scheduling up today, and I saw the time and I thought, wow, we are almost halfway through the year and it's only just started, right? Time is definitely speeding along. And we had a couple of comments in the chat room there. One highlighting when we're speaking about Camden, and you speaking on we can paint over the mould.
Yeah, it doesn't get rid of the problem.
Right, but it doesn't get rid of the problem. And so one of the points was there's been 2 stabbings within 24 hours in Newham. 14 and 18-year-old, still major issues in London.
Wow.
Very, very true, John Ken. Very true. And also on Daniel, that he produced the film Get Out.
Yeah.
As well. I'm finding trouble saying his name, beautiful people, so we'll just refer to him as Daniel at the moment. Because, so
amazing people, amazing things.
Yes.
It's sad that we're still dealing with this knife crime, after all of the things that, all of the campaigns that people have put together and things like that. But I do think that the issue is when you give people time to do nothing,
they find something. But it's also getting to the root cause of the problem. It's getting to the roots of the issue, and not just, like you said, just wallpapering over the cracks. Getting to the deep rooted issue. When you got bindweed in the garden, you got to dig it up.
Yeah.
And get to the root of the matter. Otherwise, it's going to consume everything. And sadly, when it comes to this problem that we have, it's funny because I can't remember what I was watching something recently, and I said this is why a lot of our young boys have the issues, because maybe we're not giving them exactly what they need growing up.
I don't think it's that. I think it's representation. I do think this is where representation is important in school, in places where they want to see themselves in the future. If you don't see yourself in a place of importance, I don't know if that's the right terminology to use, and people are always telling you and giving you this stereotype of what you're supposed to be, then, like we always say, if you say something loud enough as many times, you're going to start to believe it. And it's, as much as the industry of school, the institution of school, does undo many things that we do in the home, I do think it's important for our young men, our young women, to see themselves represented by those who are educating them.
Absolutely. And the thing is as well, the school system is not designed to nurture, like we said, it doesn't work on the wellness, it doesn't work on the mental health. It's designed to make soldiers in the sense of the workplace.
I don't know, I have to kind of disagree with that. It didn't contribute to the wellness and well-being and mental health. However, that has been raised as a big issue, and especially in the current current climate. I know within our industry and our education, because we fall in that bracket of young people education, that is one of the major things now that we have to focus on. But that being said, the educator that is giving that information or giving that care and supposed care, can that child relate to that person?
You know. And do you know, I'm just going to call out Marcus Rashford again, because he's started another drive.
Oh wow!
Which is amazing, and it's getting books to young kids in school, helping them to read more. We might just touch on that subject at some other point, but he's out there again for these youngsters. And do you know, we've looked at Daniel Kalula, as well as Marcus Rashford's, as well as all the other young people of excellence doing these amazing things, that surely now we are going to start seeing youngsters having role models to look up to and following in their footsteps, or institutions in the sense of us setting up these organisations and various things that can help our youngsters to grow into maturity, not with and I think that the knife crime, it even though it's there, that it is a minority as well, because it happens in all cultures as well. but knowing that there is somewhere else for them to go. I can't remember what this thing was and what it. Oh, I think it was the Idris Elba, the concrete cowboy, and it was his. The young boy's friend that was going to lead him astray, and the father that tried to keep him on the straight and narrow, and the community that tried to keep him on the straight and narrow. So again, it's recognising who your youngsters are hanging out with, and having that time for them. Because the mum just dropped him off and left him. She cried. He was having trouble in school. You should have recognised from that point that there was a problem, and addressed the problem, addressed it. Instead of thinking the solution was just dropping him somewhere else with the problems that he carried and not wanting to be in that position and that area.
I think a lot of the problem is as well, a lot of parents don't, they take what the teacher say at face value. We've been brought up to not question those people in authority, and I think that's part of the problem, in the sense that not everything a teacher says to you is going to be accurate.
No.
I don't want to call them liars, but I feel like when it comes to our young people, I don't know if it's therefore threatened, because we tend to speak up more. The teacher says on the board 1 + 1 is 5, and you're like, no sir, I think you got that wrong. You're speaking out in class, you've got a quick mouth, you've got a quick tongue, you're being disruptive, you're being distracted, but the teacher actually got it wrong. And a lot of people don't, I don't know if it's changing now, but many teachers don't like to be told that they're wrong. Don't challenge me. I've got my degree and my master's. I know what I'm talking about. And that is the problem.
But sorry, Lily, I cut you.
No, I was just going to say that when that then transpires to, for example, parents' evening, or you getting a call home, or you getting a letter sent home, or an email, because now everything's on an app, oh, your child got put in timeout or sent to detention. Okay, but why did my child get time out? Because they punched another student in the face. Okay, why did they punch that student in the face? Okay, what did that child do to you? Oh, he was pinging my bra strap in class. Okay, so what did you do with the other child? Is he getting suspended too?
Yeah.
And parents need to know that you need to ask more questions sometimes, because especially with our young boys, it just automatically, you're being suspended. But for what reason?
Because a lot of teachers can't handle. And again, going back to the black excellence, a lot of our young boys are very, very clever. A lot of them, you're not giving me enough work. Like Marge would sit down and finish the work because he was so advanced that the teacher couldn't keep up. And a lot of teachers, something I learned in this thing I'm doing, is that a lot of teachers have no experience in what they're teaching. They've got the theory of it and can teach you like 1 + 1 is 5, but they don't have the experience in teaching, and that is where the problem lies. When we're talking about this next point, is what does it mean to be black enough? And it's in line with this article that Keenan Malik wrote. Keenan Malik, he's a reporter. He's a writer, a lecturer, a broadcaster, and he writes for the Guardian newspaper. And he wrote, is Luther, we're talking about Idris Elba here at the moment, is Luther not black enough if he doesn't eat jerk chicken?
So we're not talking about Idris Elba, we're talking about Idris Elba's TV character that he created.
Right.
Luther isn't black because he doesn't eat jerk chicken.
Okay, so it says, so what? What does jerk chicken have to do? It's a bit like them saying that black people love to eat watermelon or chicken back in slavery times when they used to do the cartoons. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the correlation there?
And not to be funny, but jerk chicken only relates to a certain type of black people. Jerk chicken is more relative to Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Luther is African.
UK. Okay, is he African in the programme?
I'm sure he's British.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's of African descent.
Yeah.
So already you've got it wrong there. That sentence in itself just is stupid. Black does not mean jerk chicken.
No.
Or
it
jerk
doesn't.
rice.
So it says criticism of Idris Elba's TV character highlights a growing division between identity and perceived authenticity. Now the thing is, it's quite funny. When I'm watching Luther as a female, black female, I love it. I just love to see black male on the screen.
I just love to see Idris.
Yeah, that's enough for me. Like, oh wow, and he's a detective, and he's so amazing in the fact that he can solve this crime. Although his character, they do give him a bit of a sinister side. He's not so clean cut.
No, but it's not. I don't think that. See, this is where this is where the others, because we now relate to them as the others. This is where the others pick and choose when they want to call us black and how they want us to relate to our blackness. So because Luther is aggressive and he don't take rubbish and he breaks the rules and he does what he wants, that side of him is black. But Luther don't eat jerk chicken, so he's not black enough.
It's confusing message, and I never, like you said, it equated jerk chicken with black people, anyway, or Jamaicans, yeah.
But they didn't say he's not Jamaican enough. They said,
is he black
enough?
Is
Luther not black enough?
Yeah.
If he doesn't eat jerk chicken, for many years I didn't eat jerk chicken. Does that mean I'm not black? Maybe he doesn't like pepper. He's not black because he doesn't like pepper. You just have to laugh at these things.
Well, it says that you know Zora Neale Hurston, that she wrote The Seraph and the Swanee. Okay, I looked into this book. I really want to get this one, and it was speaking about white Southerners that spoke as if they were black. Yeah, because she only thought that her cultural people spoke in that way, whereas these Southerners.
What, is she black?
Yeah,
okay,
Zora Neale Hurston. She's a black writer,
okay, right.
And she wrote some really great books. Like what's one of the ones? I've read this one. It will come to me in a moment. I can see the front of the cover, but I can't remember what it is. And Why Does a Caged Bird Sing? No, it's not that one. It's another one. But yeah, she said that she thought that these white Dixie countrified white folk were copying the black people, when in fact that was the way that they spoke. Yeah. So she was speaking what this guy Malik is highlighting is authenticity and identity as regards to being a black person. Yeah, because we know white folk, there's one person in particular that you'd think that if you heard him and you weren't looking, that he was a black person.
Who, Luther?
No, a friend of ours.
Oh yeah.
That when he speaks, you think, oh, and he loves all the black culture, he loves all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But you're right, here we're speaking about Luther. Is he not black enough because of whatever reasons? I mean, I think that he is, personally.
I don't, to be honest, I don't even think this merits a conversation, but what she makes the point here about the fact that the poor whites that she's speaking about, were they speaking black? No, that's just because of the environment that they were raised in. The same like with Luther, he is black British, so he's been raised in a Cockney area. I think he's been brought up in East London, and he works with the Met Police. Do you really think he's going to go in there talking about his jerk chicken, rice and peas and boiled yam on the weekend? No, he's going to blend into his environment, which is what most people do of colour that go into a more predominantly non-black work environment. They adapt, they blend. I know a lot of people think, oh, you're whiting up, you're losing yourself, you're a sellout, you're a bounty coconut. Let me explain something to you. When we are in these environments, if we gave them full-on blackness, we're gonna speak frank. If we gave them full-on blackness, we would always be called up about our behaviour. Not because there's anything wrong with our beautiful blackness, but because they do not understand our blackness. So when we enter into the workplace, there is a certain, and I had this conversation with someone the other day, there is a certain way that you must carry yourself. You're not whiting up yourself for no one. You might answer the phone, oh, I didn't realise it. You answer the phone like a white person. No, I don't answer the phone like a white person. I just speak correct. Yeah. That's what it is.
But do black people not speak correct then?
It's because they want to hear the you get me's and all that nonsense that they think that we speak, and a bit of yard, a bit of, that's what they think that we speak like. But No. If we've been raised in this country and educated in this country, most of the time...
Yeah. Be of this culture, this nature, because this guy or this woman, at the head of diversity, Miranda Wayland, she said she thinks Idris Elba's lead character is not authentic. And this is the reason that she gives. As he does not eat Caribbean food or have black friends. Whether a Luther sharing jerk chicken with black buddies would have more authentic is moot, but defining authenticity through trivial marks of identity is in itself a mark of our times. And that's so true. Like, yes, Lily?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If Luther was raised in Ireland and spoke with an Irish accent where there are very, very few black people, does that make him not authentically black? If that's where he was raised, in Ireland, with Irish people, with an Irish accent, eating, I can't remember what the Irish people eat, but eating their traditional food, does that mean he's not black enough? And this thing about him eating jerk chicken, he's not Jamaican.
Yeah. Or it says he doesn't have black buddies, but then he's so busy in the programme that he ain't got time for friends.
Yes, his wife was black. So does that mean because she left him, he's not black enough? Oh, please, I can't deal. It just makes absolutely no sense. And no sense at all.
You know, this was written in the Guardian newspaper, okay? This Miranda, what's her name? Miranda Wayland, how could she make such a sweeping statement? Because that's not what makes up a black person, and we're not defined by the food that we eat.
And it just goes to show she has no clue of what authentic black people are, because you said Caribbean food, but what if it was Ghanaian and he wanted to eat wache or jollof rice or pepper stew and fufu? You didn't say that. You said Caribbean food. Every black person in the UK is not Caribbean.
Yeah.
And Caribbeans eat loads of different types of food. We eat jerk chicken, we eat curry goat, we eat cow foot. You never put cow foot in there.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So it just shows how...
Could you imagine if they wrote cow foot? There'd be... Well, they eat tripe. So that's one thing that's kind of because they'll eat tripe, English people. Yeah. Well, is it the Irish? I can't remember.
Scottish people eat haggis.
Right, haggis, like,
sheep's belly.
But like, that doesn't define a culture. And that, like you rightfully said, is a Jamaican culture as opposed to British, because I define myself as UK black. We spoke about this the other day about are we English, right? We spoke about this, and that we're not defined as that. We're defined as British, but UK because we're born here.
But this is why we'll not own it. For this reason right here, this is reason why we'll not own it. If the white people can't tell us apart, and they just say you're all Caribbean, then why am I owning the Brit? Why would I want to be associated with someone who cannot tell the difference between you can't tell the difference between a Jamaican and someone from Trinidad, but you can't even tell the difference between a Caribbean and an African, because you've not even defined that.
They just see the colour, and that is the sad thing, is that they just see what's on the outside, the colour, and even we're all different shades anyway, regardless. And that doesn't matter what shade of black person we are, because we are just all, and even using the terminology black, we've spoken about this. Pele says it reminds me of the Jay-Z tune OJ. It doesn't matter, we're still going to be who we are, which black and black is beautiful.
Yep.
Let's be who we are. And that is so true. It is about being who we are, not what we think people want to define us as. And this is why we threw this question out there. This was a column in the newspaper, the Guardian. Okay, and even to give it weight to write something like this.
But it's now adding to the ignorance of the others, because they're the ones that read the Guardian. We don't read the Guardian. Do you read the Guardian? I don't read the Guardian. Yeah. So it's those type of people that are going to be reading the Guardian that think, oh, so the Caribbeans, they eat jerk chicken. Okay, so he doesn't eat jerk chicken, so he's not black enough.
Wow. So beautiful people, it is. We are who we are. And however people want to define us, this is why I think that the race issue will always be there because they don't take time out to understand who we are. Yeah, and I think it's important. Most of all, it doesn't matter about them and them. Was it the others?
The others.
It's really how we see ourselves. And so I know black people that don't even eat chicken, that don't even eat meat.
They're vegan.
Yeah, they're vegan or vegetarian. So what then?
They're not black enough.
So they're not black enough if they don't eat jerk chicken. Well, no, that's poor. I'm just like, I'm like dumbfounded just to even think of it. But Malik mentions that the conversation on race is just getting started. The Guardian sees its role as to amplify it, to investigate injustice, listen to people from all communities tell their stories. We recently appointed 2 community affairs correspondents to do just that, so that people from all backgrounds are heard. And the first draft of history is universal, not selective. Well, when it comes to that history, they've whitewashed that anyway. And even recently, one of the let me find it. It was a museum that had a lot of African history books. Mm-hmm. It burnt to the ground.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, very, very recently, because we know that we want to dig and we want to find out more about ourselves, more about our history. And because of that, yeah, it did conveniently burn down. It was the African Studies section, and it was just a section of the library, of UCT's main library. It was on fire, and this is some of the oldest and rarest books about Africa were stored there.
Yeah, and it burnt.
Yeah.
And all the books inside of it burnt.
Yeah.
How convenient.
So this is a sad day for the country, for Africa and the world, because the Africa Studies section of UCT's main library.
But it's not a sad day for Africa, because Africans know who they are, and this is where it gets so upsetting when we start talking about, racism in this country and in America and the BAME community, because we've all been flung in this bucket, and who is it? Getz says it in one of his songs, that we're all crabs in a barrel, like all fighting to get out of the barrel at the same time, stepping on one another because of silly articles like this. You're not black enough because you don't eat jerk chicken. I said this on a show before that I don't really like this whole I've never been involved in this whole black versus white business. And I said it to my husband the other day. I was like, I don't like who this is making me. Being involved in all of this BAME stuff, and we've just changed the name at work now. It's called ED&I, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, because it's just everybody should be on the same playing field. And we know that we're not, for whatever reason. But does this make us question who we are? And that's the problem.
Shouldn't do.
But it does. Because
Why?
because you would look at an article like this, and someone who may be having an identity crisis, who was originally really comfortable with themselves but doesn't like their traditional food, is now questioning, I'm not authentic, I'm not myself, I'm not who I should be because I don't eat my traditional food because I don't like it. And it's not, that is no one else's place for them to say to you, you're not black enough because you can't take a bit of pepper. You're not black enough because you don't like super malt. You're not black enough because you can't eat chicken foot soup.
I don't like super malt and I don't eat chicken foot soup.
You're not black enough then.
Well, it's about loving who you are. As Pele said, it's about loving who we are. And at the end of the day, no person who is not of our heritage, what was her name again? I've got to find it, Miranda Wayland, who says about being authentic. What does it mean to be authentically black?
But it's like when they told us that we don't make jerk chicken properly.
Who told us that we don't make chicken?
It was on the BBC, and I remember this because yesterday they said, the others said, that the way that because we made this big uproar about the jerk rice. That
I was just about to say, what does Jamie Oliver make authentic jerk food then?
He made jerk rice, people. Jerk rice. Yes, I said jerk rice. And then someone from that community had the gumption to say on national television, well, the way that they make it anyway, it's not really authentic.
Really?
Excuse me? Who's telling you what's authentic?
A bit like Marco Pierre White then, with the rice and peas.
With green peas. Oh, please, I can't.
Like, what's authentic? We know it's authentic.
That in a restaurant the other day. I actually saw that on a menu. There was supposed to be a Caribbean restaurant, and they were selling rice and peas with green peas. Yeah.
Maybe that's their take on it.
No, that's unacceptable.
Well, we can't say it's unacceptable, Lily.
We can say it's unacceptable.
Not if they're selling it as an not non-authentic dish.
But they was trying to sell it as an authentic dish. Rice and peas.
When I saw that video, even the young child that I saw watched it, she says, "But what foolishness is this?" She was a young child. She was about 10 years old. But then they're telling us about being authentic. And still, I remember when we went to Cornwall, and because we went for to celebrate a celebration with my niece, and we cooked up the jerk chicken, and they loved it. Oh, what's the recipe? And I went close to the woman's face, and I said, I tapped my nose twice.
For them for context.
Because we like to give away our things too much as well. So what is authentic?
And then they'll turn around and tell you that you're not cooking your own traditional food the proper way.
Who
told you that?
Well, Mr. Elba produced Concrete Cowboy, yes, John Ken, and it says the boy felt he was not wanted by his father and unwanted by the way he was treated by his mother in the film. But so what does it mean to be black enough, beautiful people? Let us know. 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713. Lily, we've come very close to the end of the evening, haven't we? You know, and I mean, some of these topics, sometimes we have to highlight and speak about them. This was written last week, this one, because we were going to tackle this conversation last week. And it's just the fact of, it's how we are seen by others. And it's funny because Maverick today said that there was a march at the start end.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't hear about it. Lockdown march. What was that in regards to?
I don't know. End lockdown or something. It was all over TikTok.
TikTok, oh my. So, like, the thing is, what he said, it was very peaceful. There were teachers there, there were nurses there were all sorts of people there, and they tried to lock it down, but we got to remember, by us not being allowed to do these things, our freedom of speech is being taken away from us, our freedoms are being taken away from us, and we're so unaware of what's really, really going on underneath everything else. We've got to be aware. So when we see things like this, and these people saying or telling us who we should be, it's really a matter of remembering who we are, looking back at our ancestors, looking back in order to look forward, and knowing that we have come from greatness, and we need to be very, very proud of who we are at the end of the day, because no one can tell us that we're not authentic, and we were born into this. It's our birthright. Okay,
just put the right name on your CV and job application, and you'll see how authentic you are. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
They'll be quick to filter out the adewale.
Yeah. And this is why these youngsters are so important as well. So that these young kids coming up, that they have good role models to look up to, as well as us as parents being good role models.
Because even though, like, I'm going to go back to talk about Luther, even though he's not the most ideal person to see on television, the creator, Elba, has made, was it 5 series now? And that is showing a young person, he is a man of many talents. He can act, he can produce, he can direct, he's a DJ, you know, he's an all-round entrepreneur. That is someone that you can look up to and think, do you know what, he came from Hackney, I can do it as well. And that is the kind of, you look at the characters that are portrayed on the television, but then seeing that it wasn't made by one of the others, it was actually made by someone like me, which means someone like me can produce and direct too. And we need to forget about what the nonsense that comes out of some of these people's mouths. If that's what Idris wanted to put on television, that's what he wanted to put on television. He's making his money from it. Enough people are watching it. Enough people are hooked on it that we're waiting for the next season. Who cares whether he eats jerk chicken or not? I don't.
And the thing is, that's the point that you made, that he wrote the character. He's a character, is non-fictional anyway, and he's a black person within the police force, and he's looked down upon. So that's another, you could take it from that angle, couldn't you? That they're not treated right within the force. And the brother Logan that John Boyega played in that Small Axe, and the changes that he had to go through within the police force, likewise with Luther. So that's very authentic in the sense that if you're coming in and you're not of them, then you're going to have a fight on your hands. And he did. He was fighting against them every step of the way, but he was bloody good at his job.
Exactly. And this is one thing I've noticed about a lot of the black produced films that have come out, and I don't know if The Klansman was black produced, but even the person that's based on, they all made a change. And yes, it may be, we may think, oh, it's just, we can't make any change, or anything I do is just going to be little and insignificant, but little goes a long way when enough people do it enough times. So regardless of, you know, yes, we want our children to do well in school, yes, we want our children to aspire to be great, but instilling those little and often gems in them, the self-worth, the amount of young black females that I come across that are so they just doubt themselves so much, and it's because of people like that who write articles like that make us think we have to fit into an aesthetic, we have to fit into a certain way to look, a certain way to talk, a certain way to walk to be able to get anywhere. And that's not coming just from them, that's coming from people within ourselves.
And I was going to say that, you know, when you spoke about the bucket of crabs, normally with the crab, when one tries to climb down, another one will drag it back down into the whole bucket again. So whoever tries to climb up, they'll always drag them back down. And this is something that we do not want to do, in a sense of, if we see someone, we've spoken of Daniel Kaluuya, we've spoken of Black Excellence, the 3 young children last week.
Geniuses,
we've spoken on Black Excellence all the time. So it's a matter of us supporting. That's one thing I'd like to say to you, beautiful people. Thank you for your support. Coming to All Flavas Radio every week you're there supporting us, and we really do appreciate your support, because it helps us to continue, and it helps us to grow in order to have further reach, in order for us to have something that's for us and by us. We say that. Thank you to George Flavors too, in the sense of setting something like this up, and us being able to have the voice in order to have further reach. And that's how it is. So we support one another in order to grow, we support each other, and we're not going to be like those crabs dragging each other down because of what? Because we don't want someone to climb higher, but that person climbing higher can be at the top there and help you get out of that rut. You see, so this is how we got to look at things. Yes, it's great having a perspective on a matter, but we have to look at things from other people's perspectives as well. It's vital that we do that. So well done to everyone that is striving to better themselves, striving to support others in what they're doing, and really let's grow, because it's there, we've seen it. An Oscar, 32-year-old Oscar, so that's fantastic. So what's saying in the 10X rule, Lily?
Well, I think we should play one song and then come back to the 10X rule.
Yeah, do you want to play a song?
Yeah.
Okay then, we'll play one track for you, and then we will be back after the break. See you in 5. And yes, indeed, we are everyday people. Sounds of Arrested Development there. That's such a big tune, isn't it, Lily?
It's a tune.
We love Arrested Development from back in, I can't remember what year that was, probably the noughties. Was it the noughties?
No, 90s.
Before 90s. Yeah. Wow. See, the years have gone by. They go by very, very quickly, as is this year too. So, Lily, what's happening when it comes to the 10X rule?
So, Mr. Grant Cardone, we are on the rule number 10. Create wealth.
Okay.
Attitude towards wealth is an especially significant distinction between the financially successful and the unsuccessful. Poor people believe they need to work in order to make money and then spend their lives either spending it on nothing of importance or conserving it like crazy in order to protect it. The very successful know that money is already created. They think in terms of generating wealth through the exchange of new ideas, products, services and solutions. Mm-hmm. The very successful realise that they're not bound by shortage. They know that money exists in abundance and flows to those who create products, services and solutions, and that wealth is not limited to a monetary supply. The closer you are to the massive flow of money is the better chance you have of creating wealth for your own endeavours. So obviously the 10X rule is a book that is there to kind of help build wealth mentally, physically and monetary wealth. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like sometimes, as a lot of people in our community are raised to believe, don't stretch for riches and that kind of jazz, which yes, I agree with, but sometimes we've spoken about this before when we've spoken about generational curses. That also comes on the back end of building generational wealth for our young ones, which is something that within our community we haven't really had the opportunity to do maybe.
But what I love about that, when we've in line with what we've been speaking tonight, when we look at people like Idris, when we look at people like Daniel Kaluuya, that these men, they've started, like you said, Hackney Boy, Camden Boy, to Hollywood. So they've possibly had to spend in order to achieve certain attributes and not qualifications, but to accolades to get them where they've gotten. But now they too now can build upon that, and that is exactly what they're doing. As John Ken said, Daniel, he was the one that wrote Get Out, as well as Idris, who has a hand in writing a lot of different things. Luther, for instance, which went on to be quite fully acclaimed, that one, wasn't it, Luther? It's cult series as well, which means that that's going to be around for many, many years to come. So on the back of that is where the wealth comes. And the wealth is instilling it into the next generation.
Right, and it's not just, and then we look at people like Marcus Rashford, who is using his wealth to make his voice heard, even though people don't want to hear his voice. He's making his voice heard so that he can put things in place for his community.
Beautiful.
And we need to, consider our community. We need to think, is there something, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be with our wealth, but is there knowledge that we can share? Is there, different things, skills that we have that we can share amongst ourselves? We always talk about educating our young ones. Are we involved in that education? So seeing how we can support our community in that way. It doesn't always have to be the physical money, but there is wealth in loads of different areas that we can contribute.
And amongst all of us, there's wealth that we have it to give. So come on, beautiful people, let's do this and let's build on what we have. Let's not be a crab in a bucket trying to drag down, but let's be something more than that and building upon what we already have as a community. So thank you so much, beautiful people, for choosing All Flavours. Please check out the schedule. Tomorrow we have Darnell the therapist, who will be on from 9 to 11, as well as Charlie Muir, who is, I've said that backwards, that's for the wellness show, and Charlie Muir, who does a general disarray show at 7 till 9, as well as the other DJs. We have DJs throughout the week. I think Caddy and Ninja Man Lloyd, as well as DJ Slim, will be on Thursday. Friday night we have DJ Cry Centric, and DJ Laro for the Midnight Blues, or Late Night Blues, should I say. George Flavors and Nige on a Saturday night, as well as a nice collective of DJs, John J.E. with the Gospel Experience, George Flavors, DJ Laro, Mark Philogene, DJ Nige and DJ Ninja and Lloyd, who are on Over the Star 10. So I guess thank you so much for joining us. And all we have really left to say is we'll see y'all on the other side. Take care, beautiful people.